Mic'd up.
From Lowlifes. Highlights from Lowlifes.
Wow.
We are a top-notch
Wow.
organization.
Yeah. You stepped on our theme song. Great.
Yeah, but it was to open a beer, so it's okay.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, is that what that was?
Besides, people have only heard it 87 times.
Yeah, I guess that's true. All right, we're trying something new tonight. I have lowered the camera angle, and I need Yvonne to send us in a comment about whether or not she can still see my nose hairs. Yvonne, when you get a chance, please send us a note. All right, the Lowlifes are back again, and we are doing our top 5 favorite shortstops, Major League shortstops, not from your fantasy league or your senior baseball league, Major League shortstops. Marty's looking at me like, "Oh, I forgot. That's not the right topic."
I caught it up again. Oh, well, okay.
Yeah, it's all right. You can do this on the fly. I'm sure you can. Thank you for joining us. Please hit the microphone at the bottom of the screen and leave us a comment about your favorite shortstops. We will not make fun of you a lot or for long. We've got to move things along in the show. You'll get to see or hear your voice on the air, and it makes it more fun for us. I see we have some comments in here already from the usual crowd, but we want to hear from some other folks. All right. So top 5 favorite shortstops tonight. Thanks for joining us on Mic'd Up. All right. There, Robbie, I'm going to cut the intro short so we have more time. Okay.
Oh, I was
tell
just
dad
checking on my
jokes.
fantasy baseball team. You can go on.
All right. Marty.
Yes.
Please start us off with one of your top 5 favorite shortstops.
Come on, you guys know this is it's a running gag. Let's just get it out of the way now.
Oh, excellent.
Can't read it.
I don't give a darn.
He's number 6. I'm wearing it is the shirt I got from Cooperstown, and I'm wearing it the wrong way. So so the name and the number should be on the back. I just wore it on the front. So there you go.
So our audience can see your favorite shortstop. Number 5 is I don't give a darn. Number 6 from the Abbott and Costello routine.
Is that what it's from?
Awesome. Yes.
Are you sure?
Hey, Marty, I'm just trying to help out our younger fans who might not have seen the movie from the 1930s. So.
Well, yeah, I knew you guys were all expecting it, so I thought I'd get it out of the way early. So, all right, Hammy, what number 5? I'm gonna step out because here's the tag and it's bugging the shuck out of me. So I'll be back.
Yeah.
All right. Well, mine's not going to be a fan favorite among Giants fans, but I kind of like Fernando Tatis Jr.
Oh.
Wow, the live audience is going crazy in here. They're going to get you.
Yeah, they're very, very upset with that pick.
Oh, was I supposed to say something more than that? Well, I like players from the Dominican Republic, and he's pretty good. He's exciting to watch. 5-tool guy. He inked one of the biggest contracts in MLB history with a 14-year, $340 million contract. So that's pretty impressive. So, and I like to watch him play. I got some funny stories about that. I've seen several Padre games because my kids are down there, and every time I go down there, we go see a Padre game or two. And one of the things that always happens to me and my son is we're never in our seats when Fernando Tatis Jr. hits a home run. We're either up getting food or in the crapper, whatever. So Anyway, that's the reason I like him, because I never get to see his
So
home runs against anybody because I'm in the crapper. So.
we have to make sure that Chuck is on the show when we do top 5 ballparks to crap in.
That'd be good. That'd be good.
Or top 5 diuretics before the
I'll
ballpark.
tell you, it would not be the Oakland Coliseum, because if you've ever been in that bathroom, those bathrooms,
Well,
No, no,
I can tell you,
no,
not a
Kansas
good
City
I will
can be a
not
place.
punch.
sully my ass in that bathroom.
This
So,
sounds like an excellent book topic, but we'll cover it on the show as well.
long form, probably. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. How about Robbie?
All right, my number 5. It's a Giant. No surprise there. And not so much for what he did on the field. Although he was kind of funny, very quiet, easygoing guy. Was the ire of many of a Giants fan over the years. Um, was booed so regularly that one day he came out with the name Boo on his jacket and his uniform. Got fined by Major League Baseball for that. So, nonetheless, old Johnny Lee Master. Now, the reason I picked Johnny Lemaster is my first fantasy camp. As a camper, you're mixed in with players kind of spread out around, and alphabetically, you're kind of put in with those guys. And I was literally lockering right next to Johnny Lemaster. And he came in one day after the games, got cleaned up, and he put on this shirt, Pikeville College baseball. And I said, "Oh, cool. I always kind of pick up baseball shirts at colleges when I'm around them and anything. Can you buy one of those online?" And he said, "Nah, the school's not big enough to do anything online." He was coaching there at the time, so he literally took the shirt off and handed it to me. And I said, "You got to be kidding me!" And he goes, "Nope, I only have one request." And he did it in his Kentucky drawl, which I cannot imitate, so I'm not going to. He handed me the shirt and he said, "The one request is anytime anybody asks you about the shirt, you can tell them that Johnny Lemaster gave you the shirt off his back." And so people see Pikeville and they go, "Oh, what's that?" And then I have to say it every time. So hence I thought I'd wear it tonight. And it's a prop, and it's actually a little cherished baseball memory for me. So Johnny Lemaster, number 5 for me.
Wasn't he also Johnny Disaster?
Johnny Disaster, Johnny Lee, everything. Yep. I think Rob probably remembers there's a baseball card of him when he went to the Pirates, and they were still wearing those stovepipe hats with the yellow rings around them and everything. And he just looked like a telephone pole that had gone haywire. It was. All right. Well, I guess that leaves Webby here for round 5.
All right. Well, my alma mater is Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, so I've got to go with maybe one of the best shortstops of our time, shortstop that changed the game. Oh, Chuck's upset. I'm going to go with Dave Oliver. No, I'm sorry. Ozzie Smith. Ozzie Smith.
Oh, boo, boo.
Many people that watched the game of baseball, they said that Ozzie changed the way that people viewed the shortstop position, because he just could cover so much ground and was basically a circus act out there, doing covering so much more space than an average shortstop, and doing these acrobatic moves to get the ball to either second base or first base after a play. Loved watching him. And he was never a great hitter, but he made himself into a threat at the plate. Had decent batting average, of course, a bunch of steals, and a genuinely nice guy. I know some Giants fans may not think so, but uh, Cardinals fans would. And Marty, I think in this case you should take your anger out on Jose Akendo instead of Ozzie Smith.
To be fair, Ozzie's the one that hit Will Clark in the back of the head.
Yeah.
And then Candy Maldonado's greatest hit as a Giant was the forearm shiv as he dove into the pile and nailed Ozzie Smith with it.
Understood. Yeah.
No. He really touched a nerve.
The Wizard of Oz.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So, Chuck, I don't want you to feel left out. If he's on your list, you can say his name too. We never made that rule.
I
Terry would
will.
go. Terry says, "Oh, you took all my picks. I've got nothing to say now."
Yeah. He's number 2 on my list.
All right, cool. All right, that's done with our first round. Let's go on and move to the number 4 favorite shortstop on your list. Robbie, why don't you start us off?
All right, my number 4 probably isn't on anybody else's list, maybe Webby's. But he was a guy. He was elite and never acted like it. He was a hardworking guy, one of the hardest working guys in the game. He was a scrapper. He played hard. You never heard him say a negative thing about his teammate, about an opponent. He just showed up and played his ass off every single day. He was great with the fans, and I can verify that because one day at the ballpark at Candlestick, remember the bullpens used to be along the side there, and I had seats over pretty close to the bullpen, and he was out just playing catch, warming up with I can't even remember who now, but they were just throwing the ball back and forth, and I started to ask him about shortstop, how he positions himself and all of that, because this is back before you had little cards in your pocket and all of that stuff. And he was kind of intrigued that I was throwing out questions. So we started talking while he's warming up. Oh, I think it was Ron Oster, second baseman. Anyway, they're just playing, and then I asked about. I know most middle infielders like a small glove, but it seems like yours is really small. And they finished playing catch, and he tossed it. And he goes, "Try it on."
Oh, jeez.
You can see the. Yeah, he tossed
Oh,
it over.
wasn't no kidding. Is it really?
There
Yeah,
you are.
Damn.
he
Damn.
he tossed it over. He goes, "Try it on," and I'm like, what?" And like, I don't even let people try on my glove. I don't want. And he goes, "No, don't worry about it." And so I put it on, and I'm like, "Well, yeah, I can say I guess it's quick release, right? You catch the ball in the pocket and get." He's, "Yep, absolutely. That's why I do it." He goes, "Enjoy it," and
Wow.
headed back into the dugout.
Wow.
Nice.
So yeah, I
Okay.
mean, I could have put him higher on the list, but just because we
He
had a
gives
nice
you love
conversation
for
and he
crying out
enjoyed
loud.
talking baseball with a fan that was really interested in what he had to say. That was a great day and a treasured memory and a treasured piece of memorabilia.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh,
Barry Larkin.
that's great conversation. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's terrific.
So for those of our fans that can't read the glove, who are you talking about?
I said it. Barry Larkin.
Barry Larkin.
All right, there we go.
Not a giant. I just
Not a
was under
giant.
the assumption you were talking about a giant. Okay, cool. You got me. Nice. Which is not hard, by the way.
And
But no,
I really did love watching that guy play. He was,
yeah,
showed up and played his ass off every day.
yeah.
All right, Chucky,
All
get off
right.
the crapper and give us your pick.
All right, I'll do it. My number 4 is he was 21 years with the Orioles, Hall of Famer. I'm gonna need my glasses. 19-time All-Star, 2 American League MVPs, and he still holds the record for the number of consecutive games played. With need my glasses. 2,632 games, consecutive games. Dude's an ambassador of the game and all around good guy. I met him one time, long time ago. Can't remember where it was though, but Cal Ripken Jr. He was quite a player, and of course now he's helping to groom lots of young players with his his Cal Ripken League and all of that. So that's my number 4.
He's kind of like the unofficial ambassador for Hall of Famers. Now he's the
Hmm.
guy that speaks for the Hall of Fame group and all of that. He's very erudite.
Yeah, he's
Huh?
Ooh,
when you
ooh.
think about
Huh?
baseball guys, you think that's one of the first guys you think of. So
We're using some big words on the show tonight, like erudite
Area.
and crapper. Yeah, it's just
well,
And
big
crapper's
I
words.
don't give
much
a
more
darn.
erudite than
Yeah,
erudite.
not too dark.
All
All right,
right,
Chuck, who's up next?
Webby.
All right. Uh, I don't know that any of you will have this guy on your list, but he became really, really popular as a great fielding shortstop when we started seeing AstroTurf fields because he figured out, hey, you don't have to throw the ball on the fly over to first base anymore. If you want to get a hop or two in beforehand, that's okay. You can save your arm as long as you're accurate. Dave Concepcion, pretty much the guy who was the shortstop before Barry Larkin with the Reds for all those years.
Yeah.
Tall, lanky guy, smooth as silk at shortstop. Again, not a great hitter, but held his own at the plate and did relatively well. But I love watching him cut down the fast runners by getting rid of the ball fast and using the AstroTurf to his advantage, which is taking that last hop into the first baseman. All the first basemen knew it was coming. They probably worked on it in practice and said, "Hey, we can get this done faster if you can field a ball on a hop or two." So I'll go with Concepcion as my number 4 pick.
Yeah, good pick.
All
Good one.
right, Marty, who's up?
Yeah, I'm up.
What do you got?
Digging around, and heard this guy before, but I did a little digging into the history, and it's quite impressive. Willie Wells from the played in the Negro Leagues from 1924 to 1948, a 24-year career with various teams in the Negro Leagues. Because if you remember from our studies in the past, that almost had to rebuild every year with people jumping around. But a lifetime batting average of .330. And again, this was in 1924 to 40. And known for his speed and his almost committing, according to the one report, almost committing no errors. Was the first guy ever to wear a batting helmet, which is kind of interesting. In 1930, again, back in 1930, he was the Triple Crown winner. And the stats were pretty cool. 17 home runs. Again, back there was, I wouldn't call it the dead ball era, but it wasn't all that, nothing like today. 114 RBIs and an average for the season of 411.
Wow.
And
Wow.
and part of and it says it's part of the $1 million infield. Now we've heard of some of these other guys. Here's the infield. Wells, Willie Wells, Ray Dandridge, Dick Say, and Mule Suttles. After he was done playing for 24 years, he was a manager for 5 years again in the Negro Leagues with 3 different teams: the Newark Eagles, the New York Black Yankees, and the Cincinnati Indianapolis Clowns. He's in the Hall of Fame. He was part of the number of Negro League players that are inducted to the Hall of Fame. But kind of under the radar. You didn't hear as much as you did with some of the other guys. But it's quite an impressive career for a shortstop that long and going through what the Negro Leagues were going through back in the 20s and 30s. So I probably should have put him a little higher, actually, but there he is. Willie Wells.
Good call. Good
Thank
call.
you.
All right, we're through 2 rounds. It's time for Robbie's favorite part of the show, which is
What you drinking? What are we, 87 episodes in, right?
yeah.
Along the way, they've been with us the entire time. Our good friends at Almanac Brewing, who supply us with beer because they find us funnier than we do. Almanac Brewing is one of America's leading craft brewers. They're amazing, great beers, everything from easy drinking lagers like I'm drinking tonight, their Mexican lager Buenas Vibras, all the way up to barrel-aged sours, whiskey barrel porters and stouts, everything and anything under the sun, they can make it, and they'll be as good as anything you've ever had from that style of beer. So, yeah, I'm drinking the lager series, the Buenas Vibras, and this is just a summer porch pounder. Great, delicious beer, a lot of flavor, and so easy to slam. So what are you guys drinking? Don't all go at once.
Oh,
I'm drinking the Zap pill.
Zapapa. Say
Zappa
it right. Zapapa.
pill. It's quite good. It's very good. In fact, it says it's crisp, refreshing, and clean. I'm glad about the clean part.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, J.C. Penney, for stocking me up. But this is the Almanac True American Lager. Something a little,
yes.
yeah, something a little different. It's a little lighter than the Colts, but it's a great summer beer. Like a beautiful day today here in Reno, about 78, 79 degrees. Just running around doing what I'm doing, and it's really refreshing. Light beer, but with Almanac, it's got a heck of a lot of flavor in it too. So this is something new. I don't like the fact that excuse me, it doesn't quite hold as much as the other stuff. But well, hey, what
Uh,
beggars can't be choosers, right? So
But if
it's good
it'll make
stuff.
you feel better, they make them in both sizes.
oh.
Oh,
Mm.
okay.
Uh-huh. See, look at that. I brightened your day.
There's room for optimism.
All right. I'm drinking
The flow.
the Almanac Flow West Coast IPA. And the tagline on this one is happy, chill, and hoppy. See, those are all three things we can all get along with. Uh,
Yeah.
I'm getting used to this IPA. This is not one of the ones that I normally drink. Um, Almanac, I'm putting these on a IPA board, ranking them. I'm still really high on the Love Hazy, but try the Flow. This is awesome. All right.
And
Thanks,
we
Robbie.
we got a what you drinking call.
What you drinking? Well, now that I'm able to enjoy the nectars of the gods, I am enjoying a nice glass of J. Lore Chardonnay. Cheers.
Ah,
Here's to a good show, guys.
excellent,
Oh,
excellent.
a little off
All
topic, but
this.
we'll take it. We also have another
Sure.
what you drinking call.
What you drinking? A new Almanac True Lager. It tastes suspiciously like a true Kolsch, which is why I like it a
Oh,
lot. Very nice, very smooth. You can have a couple, and now they come in 12-ounce cans. Cheers, boys.
I see, I see.
Hey,
So
check
this is
out
all about
how
being able to tell your buddy that you drank 12 beers. I get it
There you
now.
go. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
the app transcribed Vonnie's description of what she was drinking.
Oh,
J-Lo.
Yeah, Jello.
J-Lo
yeah, the
Makes me
J-Lo
feel jello.
Chardonnay.
All right. Well, anyway, we want to thank Almanac, and since we all got a beer in our hands, I do want to take a quick second. We lost one of our little dogs this week. It was the dog that stuck by Yvonne's side her entire time. As many of you that follow the show know that she spent the last year battling cancer, and this little dog had some health issues that we weren't aware of because he hit him because he wanted to take care of her, and he got her through that. And so we lost him this week. But I will never forget what he did for her. So cheers to Lukey. We miss you, buddy.
Nice job, Luki.
And Almanac would be happy with that because they're a dog-friendly brewery where you can take your kids and the dogs and a cat on a leash if you're so inclined.
Oh,
So
wow.
stop by in Alameda, California. It is a great brewery. It's a great experience. It's trust me, you'll love it. And let them know at the counter when you get there that you heard about them from the highlights from Lowlife show, and they may take pity upon you.
Ah,
Nice.
all right. Let's get ourselves into round three. Marty, you finished the fourth round. Who is starting this round?
Robbie is starting this round.
Okay. Good. My number 3 guy is a double-edged sword. Why he's number 3. Um, we always talk about the shortstop on your childhood teams, and for me, he was the shortstop, and he was great. He was a little fireball, a lot of action. It was sad when he was traded away from the Giants. It was wonderful when he came back and had a couple of really good years as a guy off the bench that could play multiple positions. And that's Chris Spire, great battler, classic style, old school shortstop. But my favorite part about Chris Spire is as one of my favorite players growing up, I got to play for him in fantasy camp, and he was a coach of mine one year, and it was a year where we played the Chicago Cubs fantasy campers, and it was interesting because half of us would go over in the morning and play the Cubs at their facility, and they would have half their people come to the Giants facility, and then we'd switch for the afternoon games. And we went over in the morning, and as we're pulling up in the bus, we see that the Cubs guys are using pitching machines, and they play four outfielders. So we're all cracking up like that's we're not playing real baseball, but they're definitely not playing real baseball. And they played the whole game. They didn't actually have pitchers throwing. A guy would feed the pitching machine and then field the position. So
Wow.
we beat the team handily in the morning, and then we came back to our ballpark, and they put one of the better teams up against us in the afternoon. And Chris Spire pulled our pitcher aside, and I was standing right there. And he goes, "I want you to drill the first guy in the ribs with a fastball." And our pitcher went, "What?" And our guy had some control. And Spire said, "No, I want you to hit the first guy with the first pitch in the ribs with a fastball." And he goes, "Why?" And he goes, "Because I promise you that if you hit the first guy," he kept saying it, "if you hit the first guy in the ribs with a fastball, no one's going to dig in all day." And sure enough, Rick went out and fired a fastball right into the guy's ribs. And every guy on their team the rest of the day was as far back in the back corner on the back line of the box. And he had the whole outside part of the plate to himself all day long. We destroyed him something like 12-0. They only got 2 or 3 hits. So I will never forget Chris Spire. Competitive fire at fantasy camp. Drill the first guy in the ribs with a fastball.
Excellent.
Webby.
All right. Chuck brought up Fernando Tatis Jr. as one of his favorite shortstops, and of course, Tatis Jr. doesn't play shortstop anymore, but he did at one
No, he's
point.
in right field now, but yeah.
Yeah. So the guy I'm going to bring up, I actually never saw him play shortstop, but that's how he started his career, and he was an MVP twice. Finished his career as a first baseman. Ernie Banks.
Yeah.
As a Cub, he was the star of the team early in his career. But by the time I became a Cub fan, because I'm not nearly as old as Marty, uh, Banks was at the end of his career and was playing a lot of first base and was a little bit slower going around the bases, but still had the pop in his bat. But kind of redefined the position again. I know I keep saying that, but your shortstops didn't hit like Banks did. There weren't. You didn't have 40 homer shortstops. So he was playing one of the skilled positions on the field and was without question the best offensive player on the team at the time. So I'm going to go with Banks. The other thing that growing up, Ernie Banks was always on TV and always talking about how much fun he was having playing baseball and what a privilege it was to play. You don't hear that from a lot of guys.
Yeah.
And he was excited about being at the ballpark. At least that's what he said. But he seemed genuine to me. He loved the game and understood the privilege that he had. So, all right, Chuck, your number 3 pick.
All right. Well, my number 3 pick is based pretty much solely on numbers. In his 20 years with the Yankees, he had 5 Gold Gloves, 14 All-Star selections, 5 World Series rings, and he ended his career the sixth in history of hits with 3,465 hits. But that's the captain, Derek Jeter, and
Oh yeah,
never been a big Yankees fan, but
But he's a Yankee.
I know,
I
I
know.
He's
know.
the Yankee.
I just respect the play, and the ability. So I mean, he was a pretty amazing player, and
Yeah,
he deserves
yeah.
that Hall of Fame nod that he got the first year he was nominated. So
I
but
agree.
yeah, What's that?
Chuck, I know Marty's kind of down on Jeter, and I get why.
Yeah.
But I always liked Jeter because he didn't take any of Alex Rodriguez's crap.
Exactly. Yeah, that's good too. I learned one thing else about Jeter that I didn't know when I was kind of looking it up, but he was drafted straight out of high school. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing. Amazing career. Yeah. All right. Robbie, did you go yet?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
you
think
did?
that's it.
Marty, you still need to.
Yeah,
Marty.
yeah.
Oh,
And
never mind.
we're gonna have a duplicate here because I'm gonna put Ripken on my list too, at number 3, because there are some interesting stats about that guy that I ran across. Not only Rookie of the Year, 2-time MVP, Gold Gloves, Hall of Fame, all that well to be deserved. 3,000 hits. He's the all-time leader in grounding into double plays at 350. which we talked about before. These great,
Maybe that's why I like him so much.
these great ball players have been around for so long that they have some ignominious stats too to go along with, and that's another big word we can use. Yeah,
Wow, ignominious,
yeah,
erudite, and
I just like
crapper.
to
Wow.
I'd like to point out for the audience at home that he actually not only pronounced it correctly, but used it in the proper context.
Damn, I'm good. Damn.
I did not have either of those on my bingo card.
And I said, and here's one more that I thought was interesting. The man did not miss a game for 13 years, right? Okay. To put it in perspective, 3,713 major league players took at least one turn on the disabled list during Ripken's streak of 2,632 games.
Amazing.
So over 1,000 more players had one time on the disabled list than through his consecutive game streak. And I thought, wow, what?
Well, yeah, and you figure in the position that he played.
Yeah,
it's an injury prone position, across the rest of the league. So it's just an amazing that he was able to do that.
Yeah, so that deserved being my number 3 and being a repeat. Sorry about that, Hammy, but
Rob, you might remember the players. I know he pitched or hit against a father and a son, and I can't remember who it was.
He hit against a father and a son.
Yeah, he hit early in his
Okay.
career, like in his rookie year, he hit against the father, and then at the end of his career, the son had made the major leagues, and he hit against him too. But I can't remember which pitchers those were. If anybody, John Cusack, if you're listening, drop us some knowledge on that.
It might not have been a father and son. It might have been an uncle. I think it was the Plesacks.
Okay.
Dan Plesac and Zach Plesac. I think he hit against both of them.
Plesac? No.
All Chuck heard was sack.
I heard sack. Yeah, I thought he said Plesac.
All right, we are through 3 rounds. Marty, who starts this next round?
Chuck does.
All right, well, that's good because my number 2 was already taken by Webby. It was Ozzie Smith. Pretty much for the same reason, too, because I'm a Cal Poly guy, and so is Ozzie. But oh, come on!
Hey, you don't know if I'm booing Cal Poly or
I bet
Ozzie.
you didn't know this, though. I'll bet you didn't know, Webby, that he was a walk-on onto the Cal Poly baseball team.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang. Yeah, and then got himself recognized and ended up in the MLB draft and 13 consecutive Gold Gloves. I don't think anyone's going to match that for a while. That's pretty amazing. 15-time All-Star. Definitely a high caliber Hall of Famer for sure.
Agreed. Yeah.
Does Ozzie know that he's only the second most famous Cal Poly grad?
Behind John Madden?
Weird Al Yankovic, duh.
Oh,
hello.
Yeah, he probably does not know that.
Well, he should. If you're listening, Ozzie, call in.
Yeah, please.
All right, Robbie. Let's hear
All
your
right, my number 2 was already picked as well. But I've had a fascination ever since I was a little kid with Ernie Banks. Just the smile, the way he played the game, classy, dignified, played hard, and he started in an era when you weren't treated well, but he never outwardly exposed any of disappointment or sorrow or anger or anything with the way that things were unfolding at that time. And he continued to be a great ambassador for the game right up until his passing. He even asked Eddie Vedder to write a song. He said, "I've heard your music and I like a lot of it. And would you write a song about the Cubs?" Because he knew Eddie Vedder was a big Cubs fan. So Eddie Vedder actually did the "Someday We'll Go All the Way" song, which he actually recorded and released in 2016 during the season. And of course, that's the year where the Cubs someday went all the way. So that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. And yeah, he loved life. He appreciated people that applied themselves and had talent, and he took time with kids. And I, I've seen some of the old TV commercials for the Chevrolet place in Chicagoland, and yeah, you're like, man, I want to buy a car from him. I would go back in time to get a new Impala because of
Yeah.
Ernie Banks. So yeah, there's just something special about him. I mean, he's the Willie Mays of that franchise. There's no question. Mr. Cub is the exactly perfect nickname. And I got it the first time we went to Chicago. Woo Woo, who, if you're a Cubs fan, the guy, the fan that rallied everybody up outside the ballpark, Woo Woo, um, spent some time talking with us about Ernie Banks the first time we made a trip there. So that was pretty cool. And that just only increased how much adoration I had for the guy. So yeah, Ernie Banks for sure. My
Yeah.
number 2.
Yeah. Cool.
Who's left? Oh, all right. Here comes the story about Don Kessinger.
No.
Oh,
Oh,
Au contraire.
Mon Frere.
Okay, this is a guy I never saw play when he was in the big leagues. He played on some bad teams. I believe it was the Chicago White Sox, and had a great career, but got involved in one of those old timers games. And you got to hear this story and look it up on YouTube. He's the oldest guy to ever hit a home run out of a ballpark.
yeah.
Luke Appling
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
was playing in one of these old timers games at the old RFK Stadium in Washington D.C. The fence was maybe about 275 feet away. That's still quite a poke. And if you watch it on TV, whoever's pitching is kind of lobbing them in there, just trying to throw strikes. They don't want, nobody wants to be embarrassed. And Appling, who can barely stand, ends up just crushing one over the fence into the first 2 or 3 rows. Everybody in the stadium is just, oh my God, what did we just see? And he's limping around the bases like an 85-year-old guy would, and everybody is congratulating him. All the guys on the field, all the pitchers even going, "Hey, what a great game! You know what an awesome hit!" So I'll always remember that. You can find it on YouTube. Just
Yeah.
look
Yeah.
up Luke Appling
Appling
home run, and you get to see it. And it's why baseball is such a great sport.
And
So
he had one of the great nicknames of all times too. Old Aches and Pains.
oh yeah,
Because
and
anytime
you'll
anybody
get to
said, "How
see
you
it.
doing?" "Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know, my shoulder hurts and my hamstring's a little tight today."
Yep. Yep.
Old aches and pains.
He was 75 when he hit that, not 85.
All right, but it looks like he's 85. Okay, so
I'm just kidding.
now how many other 75-year-olds do you know who have hit home runs over a fence? You know,
Did
So
Frank ever do
none.
it?
for for viewers of the show, imagine JC hitting a home run.
That was back further than the second or third row. Holy crap! Nice shot.
Yes, it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
Please look it up. It's great. All right, did everybody contribute in that round?
I think we did.
Okay,
Yep.
let's go on to round 2.
That was round 2.
That was round 2.
No, that was round 3.
No, that was
No.
round 2.
That was round 2.
Then I didn't. Then I
Lamaster,
haven't
Barry
finished
Larkin,
round.
Chris Fire,
Then
and
I
Randy
haven't.
Knight.
Then
All right,
I haven't
Marty,
finished round 2
go
yet.
for it.
Oh,
All right.
yeah.
Okay.
So
So
this is round 2.
all right. So this is a sweater that I got at the Hall of Fame, and this is one of those old style sweaters with the
Oh yeah,
buttons
remember
and
that.
everything like that. So I got a picture there of Hornus Wagner wearing that sweater, and he's just in the on deck circle, ready to fight. Now, so Hornus Wagner is my number 2, simply because of the fact that he did play in the dead ball era. Started the Louisville Colonels in 1897, and then retired 17 years with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now again, the dead ball era had 3,400 hits with a career batting average of 328. Think about it. In the dead ball era, over 300. And he won the batting title 6 out of 8 times after turning age 30. And he was in the inaugural class of the Hall of Fame and got just as many votes as Babe Ruth getting into that initial class. So this is unfortunately a guy that's probably been overshadowed by a lot of great stories beforehand, but he deserves to be my number 2. What he accomplished in that era, Hornus Wagner is my number 2. So
Good one.
thank you.
For those of you who watch the show on a regular basis, my on-screen icon is a model of the Honus Wagner cigarette card from the 1910s. And that card always has Wagner with a stoic face. I'm not going to smile. So some artist recreated the card with him smiling, and that's my icon on the show. So, all right, now we've completed round 2, right?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
All right. What do we do now, Robbie?
This is the part of the show I used to call, but now I just call. And this is where we love the folks at Mic'd Up. They've been great to us and giving us this opportunity. And Rob will tell you about a show that you can follow that's on here, as there are several on this great application.
Yes. So first of all, again, please hit the mic at the bottom of the screen if you're watching and leave us your comments. We'll play your voice on the air, and all of your friends and family will think you're really popular. So this is what you can do to become more important in life. You'll be recognized by the entire Mic'd Up community.
All 12 of them.
Yeah.
We're sorry. Your call cannot be completed as dialed.
So mentioned him before, but I'm going to mention him now because it's baseball season. And AJ Rovner and the Rovner Report are finished with their discussions about the New York Rangers. We hear about the New York Giants every once in a while, but now they're talking Mets baseball, and that's a lot of fun. The 2 New York teams are off to excellent starts, and AJ is a huge Mets fan, but he will talk Mets and Yankees. They'll talk about why the teams are doing well, what they need to do to stay on the upswing. AJ's shows are not on a regular schedule. So when you see one posted, go ahead and follow him. You can do that by going into the show and hitting the blue heart next to his name, or hitting the blue heart as you're looking at the upcoming shows. Just choose Rope Nerd Report and hit follow. Anytime AJ posts a new show, you'll get a notification on your device and let you know when he's going to go live. He's got about 45 shows in the archive. Check him out. He's really good. All right. Let's do round one. Marty, who starts?
Let's see. Well, you do. I picked everybody else. How about you?
All right. Well, I was going to use Honus Wagner, but
Were
I'm
you
not going to
really?
use him anymore. Yeah, I
No,
was.
you can.
Oh.
That's not a rule.
I'm just talking about the guys that are they can't pivot when something doesn't go their way. So I'm pivoting. All right.
Can you do that? Can you do that on the air? Okay.
Yes, you can pivot.
Oh,
see?
wow.
Yeah.
Right.
My mom's favorite team growing up was the Cleveland Indians. She was a big fan of the Indians in the mid 40s through the 50s. And the Indians had something unique. They had a player manager. His name was Lou Boudreau. I got to know Lou Boudreau because he was an announcer for the Cubs for many years when I grew up in Chicago. But Boudreau was an excellent player who, while playing shortstop, was also managing a team of many huge future Hall of Famers like Bob Feller, Larry Doby, and Satchel Paige, and folks like that. He was running that team in Cleveland. They won the 1948 World Series. I think that the teams back then played about 150 games, and I think he had a season where they won 105 or 106 games. They were a train coming through every town, just blowing away people, including the hated New York Yankees. So Boudreau, in my mind, here's a guy who really loved baseball. Player, manager, announcer. He was part of that game for his entire life. So he's my number one pick. All right. Marty, what do you got?
I knew who my number one pick was going to be because he said this is my favorite shortstops. And then I tried to pull him up on Wikipedia and something like that to get some statistics to add to my selection. And I couldn't find him. Because I guess I used his nickname as his first name, and that didn't work. I couldn't remember his real name. But I finally picked it up, and I said, we have no clue who Dagoberto Campaneras Blanco was. It's Campy Campaneras. Now, here's a picture of me and Campy at the fantasy camp from years ago.
Yes.
So
they can hardly tell you apart.
Yeah. Is Campy the one with the glasses?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you oughta.
Yeah. And he played from 64 to 83. Was a stalwart of those three championship teams in the early 70s. When we moved to the Bay Area, Dad would try to take us to the A's game, and you couldn't help but getting caught up with it because right in that period they were just a lot of fun, and when they weren't on the field and I guess in the clubhouse too, you find out later. But he's 6-time All-Star, 3-time with the championships, 6-time stolen base leader. But not everything goes the way you want it to with your hero. And like Game 2 of the '72 American League Championship Series against Detroit, he got hit on the ankle by pitcher Larry LeGroux, and then he proceeded to do something that I think kept him out, possibly even kept him out of consideration for the Hall of Fame, where he turned around and threw the bat right back at the pitcher. Yeah, but it doesn't diminish the fact that and back in the World Series in '73, he had 2 home runs in that last game, Game 7, with some other no-name aide by the name of hold on, let me get it. I got it here. Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson. I'm screwing around. Okay, all right. But yeah. So he not only longevity but rises to the occasion to hit 2 home runs in the Game 7 of the World Series. And again, what my favorite shortstop from when I was growing up is Campy Campanera. So there you go.
I like that one.
Hey,
Yeah.
Thank
I got
you.
a question for you, Marty.
Sure.
Did Campy ever play in Modesto when they were the Modesto A's in the early 70s? Because I seem to remember that for some reason. Either that or I just remember it as an A's fan when I was little.
I don't. It's because he came up in '64 with the Athletics. There may have been a rehab assignment or something like that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
possible,
Maybe
but I
maybe
don't.
rehab.
Yeah,
yeah, it could have been a rehab thing. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, and one last thing on September 8th, 1965. He played all 9 positions in a game in a 13 inning game against the Angels. So yeah, so neat accomplishment. So
Good stuff.
I like
okay,
it.
thanks.
Good pick.
Hey, go ahead, Chuck. What's your number 1?
All right. Well, my number one, and I'm kind of surprised his name hasn't come up already. Although by the numbers, he'd have been among shortstops. He'd have been down on the list around 58, 60, something like that. But um, it's just during the Giants' heyday and winning World Series in 2012, 2014. I mean, it was just so much fun to watch Brandon Crawford play
Yep.
shortstop. And
Yeah.
so he had 4 Gold Gloves. He's a 3-time All Star. Yeah, there's the bobble. All right.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's I had the
Yeah.
bottle. I thought he had Tourette's or something.
Yeah, so I mean, it was just fun to see kind of a local guy who grew up as a Giants fan. They got pictures of him as a little kid at Giants games, and he always was doing good stuff for the community, fighting ALS and stuff like that. And he's just a good guy all around, and they just honored him here recently. So
Yeah,
that he's my number 1 shortstop. All right,
good
Excellent.
pick. Good pick.
all right, Robbie.
All right. Well, my number 1 to any longtime listeners of this show, this should come as no surprise. Um, Outstanding defensive shortstop. He has held the record for getting close to 100 years now for the most putouts in a career by a shortstop with 5,139, playing in
Wow.
an era when the gloves were just a slab of leather. Um, this guy was one of the clown princes of baseball. Um, Hall of Famer, Rabbit Moranville.
No, no.
Hey!
And I'm going with Rabbit because
Nice.
he's another guy. We talk about Hall of Fame and guys that are in that some people sometimes think shouldn't be there, and his name comes up a lot in that. But he had 2,600 hits. Guy had an MVP, won a World Series, and again, 5,139 putouts at shortstop. He was at the time and his era. He is, frankly, I can make the argument that the light hitting, defensive reliant shortstop that we kind of grew up with started from Rabbit Moranville. That he was so valuable as a defensive piece to his teams that they would overlook any kind of hitting issues because this guy could bunt, he could hit behind the runner, he could give himself up, and he played flawless defense. So, and then of course, I also love the fact that when his team, I think the Boston Braves and somebody else were having a brawl, and it was a pretty nasty brawl. Uh, Rabbit Moranville stopped over by the first base coach's box and began having a fight with himself, and he knocked himself out. And everybody got so wrapped up with watching him, the 2 teams that were fighting, all the fans, that the brawl just kind of stopped dead, and everybody's watching this guy go crazy. This is a guy that put like 27 doves in the manager's hotel room. Um, he's a guy who jumped off. There was a hotel ledge, and he had players standing there watching him, and there was a sub ledge below it, and he knew it, but they didn't, and he jumped out the window, and they thought he had just thrown himself to the ground like from 15 stories up, and he's standing there laughing at him from the little sub ledge. I mean, the guy was crazy. When he was the manager of the Cubs, he got fired, and the next day he stood outside the stadium selling newspapers, going, Read all about it. Moranville fired by Cubs. Read all about it. Get your paper. Like, Rabbit Moranville played the game hard and laughed harder. And boy, I've seen just a little bit of film. There's not a lot of them, but I love the guy. So there's no way he couldn't be my number one shortstop.
Nice.
All right, we'll
Excellent.
allow it.
Yeah, you have to.
All right,
Well,
we have completed our set, and we have some callers who have left their comments. Robbie, you want to play those in?
yeah, let's start with the 75-year-old that will never hit a Luke Appling home run.
Casey here with my favorite shortstops. Number 5, current shortstop Willie Adames. I like the way he plays, just getting going with the bat. Number 4, Chris Spire, 3-time All-Star, Willie Mack Award winner in 1987, a real good player. Number 3, Omar Vizquel, 11-time Gold Glover. Number 1 and number 2 coming up. Number 2, one of my favorites and one of my coaches at Fantasy Camp, Richie Aurelia. All-Star and a Silver Slugger in 2001. He was a force to be reckoned with for many years at shortstop, and then he moved to first base. Nice job. Number 1, Brandon Crawford. Who else? 4-time Gold Glover, 4-time All-Star. Just a great guy.
Good picks. Hard to argue.
Yep. Nice.
All right. Lonnie checks in.
So, of course, my list consists of all Giants players. And I have 4, not 5, sorry. And I'm going to start with Rich Aurelia. The next one is, we just celebrated his day, Brandon Crawford. He's been a shortstop for the Giants for such a long time that he's taken up most of my rankings. So my next shortstop is Adames, who is the current Giants shortstop. He is fantastic. He brings to the clubhouse and to the game such a positive, playful attitude, and is really what baseball is all about. He really appreciates and is enjoying himself. And then my number 1 shortstop is, of course, number 22, Robbie Lanterman.
Wait a minute.
Do I have 5 minutes for appeal? Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Oh, wow. Lonnie's giving me 5 minutes because of my appeal.
Talk about the range. The unbelievable range of Robbie Lanterman.
It is pretty unbelievable. Like, wow, he couldn't get there? That's unbelievable.
Oh, man.
All right. Well, I want to be the number 1. So let's the next show. Let's do your 5 favorite left outs. So that would be me.
Oh, okay. We can do that.
Sorry, you'll be an honorable mention for me.
You guys,
I'm gonna
so
leave you
cruel.
out. See what I
So
did there?
cruel. So cruel.
All right. Anybody got any good honorable mentions?
I have a couple.
All right, go for it.
UL Washington,
Oh.
Royal shortstop that never took the field without a toothpick in his mouth. I am pretty sure that thing was surgically attached.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we talked about guys who reinvented the game, as Rob was saying earlier. Mario Mendoza, the classic. His defense was so good that they could allow a career .215 hitter to play for 8 years in the major leagues and come up with the name the Mendoza line. If for having one of the worst batting averages for a starter, which I believe is 198.
Ooh.
Yeah, for a guy that had more than 500 at bats in a single season.
Yep. Everybody will always remember him.
Yep.
As the throughout the game, it's the Mendoza line. Yeah.
Yeah.
He reinvented the game.
Mm-hmm. All right. Any others, guys?
No.
All right, we're good.
I think so.
All right. Hey, everybody, thanks for tuning in.
Wait a second. Wait a
Wait,
second.
you got more?
Uh-oh.
You didn't talk about Don Kessinger, and I know for a fact that was an important guy to you.
Yes, he was. Well,
Okay. Wow.
should I say
Did
more?
he date your mom or something?
Hey, Robbie's right. I grew up watching Don Kessinger play shortstop, and he was a great player. Very similar to Concepcion, tall and lanky, great fielder. He was also a player manager with the White Sox.
Yeah.
But I heard about him recently, which was very interesting. Many of you know that I had a bat that I was given when I was growing up from former major leaguer Doug Clary, who had one hit in the major leagues, and it was a game-winning home run at Candlestick Park. Don Kessinger was on base, and the photos of the home run the next day are of Kessinger showing more joy about the home run than Doug Clary was. Clary just put his head down and ran around the bases, and Kessinger's going, "No, kid, you gotta celebrate this. You hit a game-winning home run." So all of the pictures of the home run include Kessinger. So very cool. He cared, and that's he was just a great person. So, all right. Any others?
Nope.
All right. Let's wrap this thing up. Thanks for joining us on Highlights from Lowlifes on Mic'd Up. Thank you, Almanac, for supplying us with beverages. Awesome. Let's see. We will be back here next week with another show. We do not have a ports game next week, so we'll do another show in this format. I'm not sure what the topic is, but if you follow us, as soon as we know, you'll know. All right? Hey, play us out, Robbie.
Hey, come on down and be in the studio audience. What an experience.